Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for Tuesday. We have 7 games tonight, so let's get started. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out Twitter for updates. As the DFS process, you can check out Prize Picks. Use my code if you want some free money, and you can check out the site if you want to join us. Yesterday, got so much news right before lock with Young, Sabonis, a bunch of other teams dropping bombs with all the games starting within an hour. You were kind of expecting that to happen. Hopefully, we don't get as much news right before lock today. We have some games later, so should be more spread out. Fanduel hit over 390, but it was such a high scoring slate. And then DraftKings missed because played Tyler Hero, and he didn't do much. And some of the other guys, like Levert, was still disappointing. Looking at the point guard picks today, you have James Harden, who practiced on Monday. He's currently questionable for tonight's game. I'm assuming he plays. It's a nice late night hammer going into Phoenix against this red hot Suns team. You have Curry dropped over 66 after he had a terrible first quarter. He came out firing in the second half and dropped 40 points, 9 assists. Looked good out there, 7 to 14 distance. There's no Klay Thompson today. I do expect Curry to still play, even though it's a back-to-back, but no Thompson will give him a little bit extra usage. You can go down to DeJounte Murray if you wanted to go to him instead at home. He gives you more upside in just terms of rebounding and assisting, triple-double upside. You can pretty much lock him in for a double-double at this point. He's done that in like 6 straight games, and he's averaging 9.1 assists. So, do like DeJounte Murray a lot at his price. Chris Paul's been playing out of his mind, and the Suns are shorthanded with their bench guys. Still no campaign, no Crowder, no DeAndre Ayton. So you're seeing these Sun starters play heavy minutes. Paul played 40 in regulation, 37, 37, 40, 41 the last few games. He's been really good. Another guy that you can probably pencil in for a double-double. Irving, if Harden plays, it's going to be tough to play Irving. I'd rather go to Devin Booker. You have Russell if he plays. He looks okay at 78. But 6K range, looking at like Cole Anthony at a nice price tag. You have Derek White at a great price tag. But it is tough not to start with Spencer Dinwiddie today. He's always done well without Bradley Beal, and no Bradley Beal today. Dinwiddie gets way more usage, gets more shots off, has the ball in his hands to make more plays with the assist, and he's a good defensive player at times, so he can run into some like steals and blocks. He shot the ball terribly the last 3 games. That is 6 of 32 shooting the ball, but going up against Milwaukee, they give up a lot of threes. They play, and Milwaukee hasn't been good defensively recently. They gave up like 132 to Denver at home. They give up open threes, and Dinwiddie, expecting him to just put up a monster game at 59, it's just too cheap. Without Bradley Beal, I'd probably look at his double-double odds as well. Other guys that would look appealing would be like, you can look at Jalen Suggs at 57, Jordan Poole at 55, gonna start in place of Klay Thompson. Going further down, don't have much besides like DiVincenzo. You can look to him in tournaments. McLaughlin, if he starts again and they're without Beverly or D'Angelo Russell. A shooting guard. A top end, I like Devin Booker at 95. Levine's price tag has kind of jumped up to 88, so tougher to get to him. I'd rather go to Edwards if Russell is still out. Other guys would be in the 5K range with Will Barton at 58. He only played 27 minutes, but he played really well. It was just a big blowout against Milwaukee. Was on pace for another good game. And today, Jokic is questionable. If he's out, then you definitely want to play Will Barton at 58. Right now, you can go to Gary Trent instead. Didn't stick with him after he made the initial video, but he had 9 threes yesterday. He's been red hot right now. 4 straight games of over 30 real-life points. Playing big minutes as usual, as you expect. And they're going up against Miami again. They just played them. They went into 3 overtimes. They're at home. And Trent's been very good this year. For the Raptors hitting threes, I feel good about plugging him in at 58. Other guys would be Jordan Poole, Jalen Suggs. In the 4K range, you have not too much. Maybe like Allen looks okay because there's no George Hill today, but tougher to trust some of these backups on Milwaukee. DiVincenzo had a good, decent price tag. Beasley, if he starts again, he could look decent, depending on the news. Small forward, looking at Lavinia is your most expensive option, but I kind of like Edwards, depending on the Russell news. Not really looking to pay over 7K for Scotty Barnes. I'd rather maybe try to get to Anunoby instead, but both guys are probably priced where they should be. Trent is way better priced at only 58. Bridges, another guy that's playing heavy minutes for the Suns, 40, 41, 45 last 3 games. Some of these games he's not great in terms of just fantasy scores, but every once in a while he'll give you a nice score because he's still a very good shooter in general. He's been shooting over 50% from the floor. He can get you some rebounds, get you some steals. And against Brooklyn, they don't really play good defense. I'm expecting it to be a higher scoring game. So you're kind of picking between playing Bridges at 58 or like Cam Johnson at 54 if you wanted to get a piece of these Suns guys. Or you can play Franz Wagner sandwich in the mix at 56. Right now I have Bridges. If Jokic just happens to be ruled out, then you can definitely go to Aaron Gordon instead at 59. Gordon and Barton would be like great priority plays. You can go to like Jeff Green as a value pick, but there'll be a lot more news. Hopefully we get that Jokic news early enough in the day that we can kind of figure out which direction we want to go. Washington also has some other guys that are cheap that you can look to, like KCP at 42. They have a lot of bodies now, but then you have Avdija at 38. You have Kispert at 35, going to play some minutes. They do have a lot of guys, so we'll see. Besides like Dinwiddie, Kuzma, it's kind of tough to pick between the rest, but I'm sure one of those guys is going to have a decent game. Power forward, Giannis is up to 12K. If there's no Jokic, it's easier to get to him. We'll get more value, and there's one less superstar to pay up for. Right now, I kind of like Wendell Carter at only 62. It's a good price tag on Carter. He's going up against his former team if you wanted to play that revenge spot. And Chicago is not really that dangerous in the front court. They're missing. They haven't had a power forward all year. They give up rebounds, and Carter going up against Vooch, I think should have some success. So I like his price tag a lot. Other plays would be in the like 4K range. You can maybe look to like Kuminga at 4K, depending on Bielitsa news. But I'd rather go down to like Avdija at 38. And that's basically it unless we get some more news. In the mid-range, you have Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon. At center, if you wanted to go up to Vooch at 93, I think he looks like a great spot. He's going up against his former team. He hasn't done great against them this year, but he has done fine against them in past, and recently he's been playing well. They are almost fully healthy minus Lonzo, so still having to deal with high-usage players in DeRozan and Levine, but Vooch has typically hit value most times than not, and 93 is a pretty good price tag. Other guys that look appealing personally would be going a bit further down here to maybe like 4K range for Claxton at only 41. Just pretty affordable. There's no Aldridge today, so he should start, and going up against Biyombo, should be looking at least like mid-20s in minutes. On the season, he's averaging 20 fantasy points in 21 minutes. That's a little less than a point per minute, but at this price tag, I think he's worth a shot. And then the last guy to mention is definitely going to be Kyle Kuzma. I think Dinwiddie, Kuzma are two great starting points for your lineup, and definitely from the Wizards side. They're both pretty appropriately priced. Dinwiddie's definitely underpriced. Kuzma, you could say he's underpriced for how he's played this year, especially in games without Bradley Beal. Even with Bradley Beal, he went on a tear like a couple weeks ago where he had like 44, 53, 66, 40, 43. So he's taking a lot of shots, gets you a lot of rebounds. He's still not the best three-point shooter, but he has been working on that. I guess every once in a while he still takes them, and he's going to make some. But I do like him against Milwaukee. It's just a very nice price tag, not having their highest usage player out there. And it leaves you with $7,400 left going with these 6. Definitely think you have some upside to work with, and definitely some tinkering to be made once we get some more news. But for now, I feel pretty good about getting these guys in terms of a core piece. So that's it for the DraftKings side. Let's go over to FanDuel. All right, on FanDuel point guard plays, you have Murray at 10-2. He still looks playable on FanDuel. You do have Chris Paul at 95. He looks fine. You can go to Steph Curry instead at 93. And then you have Van Fleet at 87. I'd probably rank it like, I think Paul is one of my favorites, then Murray, then Curry, then Van Fleet, then Irving. I'm assuming Harden plays, so I'm not too interested in Irving at almost 10K. Other guys that look appealing are definitely Jrue Holiday, Russell if he plays. You got to start with Dinwiddie at only 63. Looks great on both sides. Beverly if he plays, and there's no Russell, you could look to him at 56, but he's missed enough time that you're a little bit worried about the minutes. And then going further down, McLaughlin if he starts again could be a decent value pick. And then maybe if they decide to start like Holiday, you could look to him. He hasn't played much recently, but if he starts, you feel way better about his minutes. Shooting guard, I like Murray and Harden both similarly. If Harden, we know that he's playing before lock, you can go to him at 10-5. It should be like one of the better games to target fantasy wise, especially from the Phoenix side. Booker at 9K looks great. Going further down to Levine at 8,000. Trent is pretty tough to get to on FanDuel at 72. Rather go down to like Will Barton, Franz Wagner. And then you have Jordan Poole at 53, so I'm going to plug him in right now. I think in the 5K range, he looks better than KCP, better than Lonnie Walker, better than Diallo, Graham, Duncan. 4K range, we have to wait and see on the Jimmy Butler news. That would impact Strus and Caleb Martin. Small forward, you have Giannis at a great tag at only $11,000. He looks great. Anyways, if we get some more news, it would be a little bit easier to get to him, but he looks great if you wanted to plug him in. I like him more than Harden. Mid-range, we'll have to see if Ingram is able to play or not. If he's out, then you can go to Josh Hart at 68. Wiggins priced up to 7K, but he's still been playing better. And then in the 6K range, bottom end, you have Barton, Bridges, and Tyler Hero. Right now, I like Will Barton. Just gives you a lot of upside. And it's 8 o'clock start, so hopefully we'll know about the status of Jokic. But even if we don't, 62 for Barton is a great play if Jokic is in or out. Cam Johnson, 56. Bridges, 61. Similar price tags on both guys. Depending on how much money you have. If you have 56, you can plug in Cam Johnson. If you have like 6K plus, probably go with Bridges. I'm not really looking at KCP at 53. Pass on Walker. Not that interested in Terrence Ross. Martin, that you have to wait on the Jimmy Butler news. Jeff Green, you have to wait on the Jokic news. Avdija is priced at 42. Not the best. Rather go to Kispert at 35. 35. Going over to power forward, you have Giannis 11K. Looks great. Bam struggled yesterday. The Heat did without Butler. But Carter at 67 looks appealing. You can even play Bridges at power forward. Portis hasn't been playing a ton of minutes recently, but he still gives you upside at 6,000. No Aldridge today, so you do have Claxton on both sites as a great value pick. He's only 41 on FanDuel, so I'm going to plug him in at the power forward position. You can even play him at center if you wanted to, but you'll probably be able to pay up for a better center option than going with Claxton. And then speaking of center plays, you have Jokic if he plays at 11.3, looks like a great option. I like Vucevic's price tag at only 87. Not that interested in Pirtle. You have to wait on the Butler news before you really feel good about playing. Well, you can play Bam anyways, but probably waiting on the Butler news makes some sense. Carter at only 67, I like his tag. And then you can go down to Mo Bamba at 58. McGee's coming off the bench now with how good Biyombo's played when he has missed games. And that is basically it. Nobody else looks too appealing. So right now we have 76.20 left over. I'm going to plug in Vooch right now. If we got more news, I can definitely upgrade or even downgrade to like Carter and make some other spots around. But that's about it for the video. Stay tuned for Twitter for updates. I'm sure we'll get some news that changes some things. But best of luck tonight, and I'll see you all next time.